There you are, Susan. Hello.
Good morning, everyone. I am going to speak today about dealing with breathing and nerves and just how breathing can relate actually quite directly to nerves that you might be feeling, or performance anxiety, you could call it, when you're playing. Um, First, I should say, and I've said this so many times, there's no substitute for preparation. That's going to be your best word to control nerves. And second best, close second, is breathing, and making sure that your breathing is warmed up and working. So what we're going to do today is I'm going to give a few pointers about nerves, and then we're going to go into some breathing exercises that I have. These are from the Breathing Gym book. If you're not familiar with it, this is what it looks like. And you can get it on Amazon. I just checked it there, so I go. It is available on Amazon, and it's one of the best things that you can add to your library. And we'll talk some more about that later. So what I mean by preparation is just spending enough time in the practice room where um, you have all of your music so well learned, and you've run through it so many times that you can almost put it on autopilot when you go to the performance. That's the best thing you can do for yourself. Years ago, I went to Disney World. My husband and I went to Disney World, and on the flight back, I just happened to be seated by a man who is a stuntman for Disney, and he is the one who designs their stunt shows where people are driving cars around and wrecking them, and a man will leap out of the car and he's on fire and running around. And I asked, this person's name is Bobby Talbot. Bobby Talbot. He's a motorcycle rider. He flies planes. He rode motorcycles in the Batman movies. And so I said, well, I've got a question. How do you do that? How do you run around on fire like that? And, you know, how do you not be afraid that you're going to burn up? And he said, well, it's very easy. We wear a fireproof suit that's coated with a liquid, and we protect ourselves before we ever go out there. And so we absolutely know that we're protected, and then we can just go out there and just have fun. Well, I thought about this, and I thought about how that might relate to music and to horn playing or performance. Um, if we're preparing in the practice room really, really well, then we've covered all of our bases. And you know, you've probably, I have, gone on stage and felt like you were on fire sometimes. Um, so this is a way that you can prepare enough that you go on stage and you can just absolutely have fun sharing your music with your audience, because you've done everything you can in the practice room to not be on fire on stage. Um, so when the nerves come, you probably know this, your heart races, and then your breathing gets more shallow. And I find that it's like a vicious circle. So my heart races and my breathing gets shallow, which makes my heart race some more, and my breathing gets shallow. And pretty soon you almost feel like you're paralyzed. And so what we're going to do is we're going to do some breathing exercises that can help you break this chain, basically, that you've created by getting uptight and nervous. Um, so I have a phrase that I always use with my students. I even had it printed up on my wall in my studio. You can analyze and you can create, but you can't do both at the same time. So, gee, which one would we do when we're performing? Create. So when you think, oh, I feel these nerves creeping in, think create, because then your mind goes to a beautiful thing that you're going to share with your audience next. You have plenty of time later to analyze. We call them postmortems. Do the postmortems on your performance. So you can analyze and you can create, but you can't do both at the same time. So just think create. And I find that to be such a lovely, positive word to attach to what I'm going to do next after I take my huge breath. So the other thing you can do to kind of practice is run up a flight of stairs, get your heart racing a little bit, and then practice getting it all then under control after that. And do that several times so that you're really used to that. You're used to, okay, well, I'm feeling a little nerves, so here's how I just bring it down. I think that's really all I'm going to say right now. So let's jump right into this. Gotta get to the right page here. All right, so first we're going to do, stand up here, some tension and release. So just, it's probably best if you stand up, and you can see these cute little pictures here. This program, by the way, was produced by Sam Palafian, and he was a tuba player who was originally in the Empire Brass, and most recently taught at Arizona State University. He also, if you've seen the warm-ups that I do, he's also the one who developed those warm-ups. And so what's really fun to do is to do the warm-ups and intersperse these breathing exercises with your warm-ups, because I find that my day goes so much better if I've warmed up my breathing as well as my playing. So these breathing exercises are meant for that purpose as well as handling nerves. That's the byproduct you get. If you do these, you're going to feel like your breathing day goes better. And the other advantage is that it makes you breathe the right way automatically a little bit more, rather than having to think, oh, okay, take a big breath here, okay, take another big breath. Your body just does that because it's been trained to do that through the breathing warm-ups. So you can use these to help all of those things. Okay, so we're going to do a few tension and release and just kind of get loosened up and ready to do some breathing. So what we're going to do is take in a breath and tense up, and then let it go. As you let it go, make a noise, make a big sigh. Okay, so let's do a few of those. Here we go. Ready, go. And really tense up. Try to tense up even more with each one that you do. Let's do a couple more of those. Ready? Okay. Good. One more. Here we go. Very good. Okay. Let's move on to the next slide. I love this one. This is called 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. What we're going to do, we're going to simply breathe in for 6 counts, out for 6 counts, then do the big sigh in between. Do in for 7 counts, out for 7, 8, 9, and 10, just like that, with a big sigh in between. The things you need to remember about this is the shape of your mouth should be like an O or whoa, like you're saying O or whoa. Really big, nice open throat. Effort should be made to breathe evenly over the entire count, meaning you're going to be, on the 6, you're going to be halfway full of air here, and then you're going to be completely full of air here. Everything between that is really even. So try to start getting in touch with how you're going to manage your air. This is a great place to start in your day, of managing your air to be really even and really controlled by you. And then at the top, it's just an easy transition to the expelling of the air. So let's try this. I'm going to put a metronome on at 72, as soon as I can hear it. And that will help us, because since I'm going to be breathing too, I won't be able to count. All right, we're going to do 6. Here we go. Ready, go. Big sigh. Okay, ready for 7? Here we go. Ready, go. At this point, you should already be feeling your body just kind of getting into the groove of the breathing and also just starting to relax into it. Okay, we're going to do 8 next. Here's 8. Ready? Go. And 9. Ready? Go. All right, last one. Let's do 10. Go. Ready? Go. Great, great job. One thing I forgot to mention is try to, with each one of those, expand your lungs a little bit. Try to get in even more air with that one than you did on the one before. So therefore, you're really not only warming up your lungs, you're trying to increase that lung capacity. The next thing we're going to talk about is, after I get a drink of water, is air speed and how your breathing can and your airspeed can affect your dynamics. So we'll give you a couple of little illustrations here. So the first one is for pianissimo air. So it's going to be kind of like you're going to float a paper airplane. So let's take a big breath and float our paper airplane. Great. An important thing to note is, did you notice that the air is moving? It's just moving really slowly. It's really easy to think, oh gosh, it's piano or pianissimo, I have to hold back my air. No, you don't. Your air needs to move, but it's going to move slowly, and it needs to just move really consistently and slowly forward. Okay, let's talk about mezzo forte air. It's going to be kind of like you've got a dart in your hand and you're going to toss this dart. So let's toss the dart a little bit. Okay, so you used a little bit more air, a little bit more rapid air for the toss the dart. Let's do the toss the dart again. Great. Okay, and then the third one is fortissimo. Fortissimo air. Air is going to be like you're going to shoot a bow and arrow. So let's get our bow and arrow. Get ready, and then let's shoot. Really send that arrow with your air. So when you're using, needing to use fortissimo dynamics, then think about that bow and arrow. Let's do one more bow and arrow before we move on. Ready? Go. Great. Okay, now we're going to channel our inner child. If you have seen some of my son Jesse's presentations, he came up with this idea of using bubbles. So you can go to the store and buy some bubbles. What we do with these is we're going to blow bubbles that relate to our airspeed and our dynamics. If you're going to play piano or pianissimo, you want to use the type of air that would blow a really nice big bubble. Let's see if I can do it. I'll try it one more time. That was a little bit smaller than I wanted. There you go. So you're just using really even managed air. Now, I want to get some mezzo forte bubbles going. So this one should blow a lot of bubbles really rapidly. I love this because I get to be a kid again. It's so fun. All right, fortissimo air, what do you think it's going to do? Well, I think bubbles won't be able to form because you're blowing too quickly. Okay, little ones. So you get the idea. Go to the store and buy some bubbles and have fun. Okay. The other thing that I wanted to talk about is that before we leave airspeed, if you're working on a passage and let's say you have some rapid tonguing, like a scale-wise or some kind of up or down run, you want your air to be really even and you want to put down the air first, then put the notes on the air. A really good thing to do, and you have the tools, it's free, get a piece of paper, on a sheet of paper, and blow against it. So the idea is you're tonguing in a really forward direction, sending the air first, tongue second, in such a way that you want this sheet to remain as still in this position, as you can see, as it can. In other words, you don't want it flopping. That tells you something. It tells you that you're leaving space between your tongued notes, and we want that air to move through that phrase. So that's just a little trick in a tool that you can use if you need it. Okay, so we're gonna do some flow studies. And yeah, you've got the next page up here. Okay, so don't forget that the shape of your mouth is going to be in an O or whoa, and you're going to breathe evenly over the counts. Okay. All right. Let's see. You know what? We've done something similar to this. I think hang on. I didn't turn the page. Okay. Here we go. We're going to create resistance by put your hand up here, create a suction basically, and then we're going to inhale against that. So you won't be able to get any air in. You're trying though, you're working hard at getting air in, but it just doesn't come in because you've got it closed off with your hand. So, and then when we release it, we quickly remove the hand and create kind of a pop with it. So let's try it. This exercise, it stimulates abdominal activity. That's the purpose of it. So let's just try this a few times with just the inhale and pop. So just put your hand up and inhale against it. Okay, good. Let's do that a couple more times. Okay, even better. One more time. Okay, very good. Now what we're going to do is I'm going to skip down to the bottom of the page there. While we're inhaling against this, we are going to feel our body expand, lower front, lower back, upper front, then upper back. Just imagine that your body could expand in those areas and that you're creating, shall we say, more air, more room for this air that we're trying to get in. And all the time, through all of these exercises, we are trying to increase our lung capacity, increase the amount of air that we're able to take in that day, and you're warming up your lungs. You know, we always warm up our lips to play. Sometimes it's easy to forget that our lungs do a lot of work for us during the day, in our playing day. So it's really great if you can warm up your lungs. Another side note to this, you can do some of these breathing exercises even if you're doing it while you're driving to work. I've done it before. Not all of them, obviously, but some of them you can actually do while you're in the car. And like I said before, if you do some breathing exercises, you're automatically going to be breathing better that day without really thinking about it as much. So let's try this. We're gonna, again, try to breathe in against your hand, but seal it off with your hand. As we're doing that, we'll hold it for a few seconds. Feel um, your body expand, lower front, then lower back, upper front, upper back. And you should have that diagram there in case you forget what the order is. All right, let's try this. Here we go. Okay. Were you able to sort of feel like you were expanding your body? I hope so. I was, and when I first saw this exercise, I thought, well, that's silly. You can't do that. But actually, you can, and it feels pretty good. It feels like, wow, I'm really doing something. So let's do that again. All right, here we go. Okay. I don't know about you, but I'm starting to feel like my body is really starting to react to these exercises and in a good way, and is feeling like, okay, I'm ready to play my horn. Like I said, ideal, I think, is to intersperse these with your warm-ups. So, do a couple warm-ups, then do a couple of breathing things, and then go back to the warm-ups. You should feel like you can tell that you did the breathing. When you go back to the playing warm-ups, then you should think, oh, yeah, okay, I'm breathing better. I'm doing this better. So it's really fun. It's really great exercises. Okay, we're going to do a little bit of a variation. I think we're going to go on to the next page. You've got it up, don't you? Okay. We're going to, again, put our hand over our mouth, and we're going to have a slow leak, and we're going to let air in slowly. Now, it's going to take about 3 seconds under pressure to get all the air in, and then we'll release. So let's do that. Ready? Good. So pace it so that your air is going really steadily in, like we've said all along. Manage your air and make sure that you're halfway full at 1.5 seconds, I guess it would be, and all the way full at 3 seconds. So let's try that again. It takes a couple of practices to get this really going good, because we haven't done this before. So let's try it one more time. Ready? Go. All right. Next thing we're going to do is a little bit of a variation on that, but it's exhale therapy. Breathe in smoothly for 4 counts, then suspend the air for 4 counts, then blow out half of your capacity forcefully. Pause for 1 count, then blow out the remaining air, and squeeze the abdomen as you're doing this, as you're blowing out. And we're probably going to try for 3 times of doing this. And then our goal is to breathe deeper each time. So we're going to breathe deeply the first time, we're going to breathe deeper the second time, and we're going to breathe the deepest the third time. So let's try this. Reminder, in for 4 counts, suspend the air for 4 counts, blow out half the air, hold it for a split second, and then blow out the rest, okay? And when you're suspending air, don't close your throat off. Don't pretend like you're about to jump in the deep end of the pool. Instead, keep your throat open, so you're kind of, in a sense, you're kind of sipping air at this point. So let's try it. Here we go. 4 counts in, hold, breathe half of it out, hold, and then the rest out forcefully. Ready, go. Okay, that felt pretty good to me. We're going to do it again. We're going to try this time to get in even more air, get a deeper breath. even when we think we get a deep breath, we can usually get more. So get that little bit more this time. Okay, here we go. 4 in. Ready, go. And it always works really well to take that cleansing breath and in between what you're doing. Third time, this one we're going to get our deepest breath and using our most lung capacity. So here we go. Ready, go. Okay, you should be feeling really, really good right now. Okay, so now we're going to breathe in for 16 counts. Don't forget, it's going to be really even all the way to 16. Suspend the breathing for 4 counts, and then explode the air in one huge chunk. And vocalize it, make noise. Okay, so here we go. 16 counts in, suspend for 4 counts, and then blow it out all at once. Okay, here we go. Ready, go. Okay. All right. Make lots of noise, but don't scare anybody, right? Okay, so that is some exhale therapy. So I think, what are we doing for time? We're good. One thing I'd like to interject here. There's an exercise I did. I took my students to a workshop once in Arizona where Sam Palafian actually came to the workshop and worked with us a little bit. He gave us another exercise that he uses specifically for performance anxiety. And this one is fantastic. What we're going to do is we're going to, three exercises basically. We're going to breathe in for 10 beats, hold for 10, and by hold I mean you're not jumping in the deep end of the water, you don't close your throat off, hold the throat open, and then exhale for 10. So in for 10, hold for 10 with an open throat, exhale for 10. So let's do that one. Here we go. Ready, go. Okay, great. And don't forget that we're going to breathe in very evenly over the 10, always, always in these exercises. And then be half empty, halfway through on the way back. So, and make the turnarounds really smooth. Next one, in for 10, hold for 20, out for 10. And you're not going to die. You probably think 20, I can't hold my breath for 20, but yes, you can. If you're keeping an open throat, you could hold it indefinitely. But let's just hold it for 20. Okay, we're in for 10, hold for 20, out for 10. Here we go. Ready? Go. Okay, always that cleansing breath in between. And just kind of shake out your body and just feel good. Last one is back to the 10, 10, 10. Okay, so we're going to take in 10 beats, hold for 10, out for 10. Let's do that one. Ready? All right. That is such a good exercise to do before you go on for a performance. It's best if you can find a spot where you're not going to be around any people, because you want to be as relaxed as you do that as possible. I don't want to be thinking about who's watching me, who thinks I look weird right now. I don't want to be thinking about that. I just want to be thinking about getting my breathing really under my control so that I can walk on that stage and just deliver the performance I want to deliver. However, having said that, it's not always possible that you're going to be able to get alone. In fact, sometimes I'm on stage and everybody's setting up, and I'm, oh, I should do that exercise. And you can do it just sitting there. If somebody asks you a question and you're holding, it's a little bit difficult, but you can do it. So use that and try it out. I find that even right now, I feel like, wow, that really, really relaxed me. It's great. Okay, what do we want to do next? Oh, so you should do some practicing of monitoring your flow. And what I mean by that is you can check out what your air is doing and how consistent it is and how even it is. Managing airflow is such an important skill to develop. So what you can do is to take in air, you're going to breathe around this knuckle here. Take in. And then turn your hand around about this far out and breathe out against your hand. And just check to see, is that feeling like it's really consistent and it's really even? So let's do that a couple times. Breathe in around the knuckle, then out against the hand. Here we go. Ready? Go. Great. We're going to do that again. You should be starting to feel like you're really able to get a big, even, really comfortable breath by now, because we've done enough exercises. So let's try that again. So in around the knuckle, out against the hand. Let's see if we can get in even more air this time than we did for that last one. Here we go. Ready? Go. Great. Let's do a variation on that. Let's practice that. I would say that was about like our pianissimo air. Let's practice our mezzo forte air when we expel the air, and then we'll practice our fortissimo air. So this is mezzo forte. Toss the dart or make a bunch of little bubbles, however you want to think of it. Okay, so in the regular way, as relaxed as you want, take as much time as you want, get really full on air, and then we're going to blow the air out as if we're playing mezzo forte. Don't forget to put your hand up so you can tell if you're getting an even outward airflow. Here we go. Ready? Go. Let's try that one more time. Ready? Go. Great. All right, now we're going to do the fortissimo air. So it's going to be really intensive, really powerful. Pretend you're playing fortissimo. So we'll do a nice relaxing breath in, and then shoot it out really intensely like you're shooting a bow and arrow. Okay, here we go. Ready? Go. Again? Ready? Great. Okay. So later today, when you're getting on your instrument, try relating those things to your playing. After you get warmed up, try practicing that. Play a note, pick an easy note on the horn, and play pianissimo like you're floating in a paper airplane. Play mezzo forte like you're tossing a dart, and double forte like you're shooting a bow and arrow. It's really going to be fun to start kind of attaching those airspeed things to your dynamics. Next thing we're going to do is some flow studies, some more flow studies. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to shorten the inhalation. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna breathe in for 4, out for 4, then we're gonna shorten that, breathe in for 3, out for 4, and in for 2, out for 4, in for 1, out for 4. And okay, so we're gonna do each one twice. So what we're trying to do here is we're training ourselves to be able to take in the same amount of air, but quicker, because we don't always have 4 beats to take in a breath. So you're relating it to what you might run up against in your music. Maybe you have a quarter note rest. You need to be able to get really, really full on just a quarter note worth of time. So that's what we're doing here. All right, so in for 4, out for 4, in for 3, out for 4, in for 2, out for 4, in for 1, out for 4. I'll try to keep track of my fingers here. Okay, here we go. Ready, go. Great, gotta get a little water here. In my nice KBHC water bottle. Okay. Were you able to get in a full tank of air in one beat? I hope so. Okay, now we're going to jump to the next page and we're gonna shorten the exhalation. So we're gonna breathe in for 4, out for 4, in for 4, out for 3, in for 4, out for 2, in for 4, out for 1. So we're shortening the exhalation this time, just the opposite. Again, we're going to do each of these 2 times. So let's try this, okay? And what we're doing here again is just trying to get used to managing our air in the space that we have to use that's available within our music. So, all right, we're going to shorten the exhalation. All right, here we go. Ready, go. Big cleansing breath, shake it out. Okay, I think we've done some really good work here. I think it might be a good moment to maybe take some questions and then see what our time's like. What do you think, Chris?
Yeah, sure, absolutely. So we've had a couple of comments in chat. No questions so far. However, if you think of any questions, feel free to drop them in. I have thought of a couple of questions for you. So you live in Denver.
I do.
And I'm certain that this affects your breathing and the oxygen that you can take in. How would you recommend people sort of, treating that situation?
Well, not much different actually. It just takes time to acclimate to the higher altitude. It is a thing. When I first moved to Colorado, I was like, wow. But I just had to get used to it. And these breathing exercises are going to help that. Now, what you need to know though is going to a higher altitude and then all of a sudden you're taking in all these big breaths, you could get lightheaded. So be prepared for that. Have a chair close by, be ready to sit down if you need to, because that probably will happen. I took my students once to this air horns convention down in Arizona, and where Sam was doing his breathing gym things. And so we had this whole room full of people, and he said, now, if you get lightheaded, then just sit down or, whatever. lay down, whatever you need to do. It was really funny because we had traveled down in altitude to go to that workshop. So here's all these Colorado people, and then we had traveled down. And it was funny to look around the room, and they were dropping like flies. But the Colorado people were just like, what's up? No big deal, right? The other thing is when you when I like fly somewhere to perform, that's quite a bit less in elevation, you tend to think, oh man, it's going to feel instantly 100% wonderful. Well, it does not. You again need to acclimate to the new elevation. Actually, I find that if I want to be at my peak performance-wise, then it's a good idea to get where I'm going maybe at least a day earlier. And then, yes, the answer is you're going to feel great after a day because you have all this air training that you've done at high altitude, and then now you're at a lower altitude. So that is a thing, but you do have to plan that extra at least one day to acclimate to the lower altitude.
I remember that from my own experience. Actually, the first time I ever flew alone, I was going into my senior year of high school, and I was going to the Rafael Mendez Brass Institute. And I remember being warned ahead of time, watch out, the elevation will get you. And I think you, or maybe Sam, because he was there, or was it Pat was there?
It would have been Sam.
It would have been Sam, yeah. He led a class, and I was definitely one of the flies that dropped into my chair.
So you can relate.
I can definitely relate. I haven't seen any questions pop in. Be sure if you guys think of something. Another one I thought of, I don't know if it's anything you've ever heard of, but it was when I was working on meditation. I think Peggy might have mentioned something in her stuff with meditation, but there's something called progressive muscle relaxation. Have you ever heard of this at all?
No, actually.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
honest,
it's incredibly similar to what the brass gym, the breathing gym, I mean, was talking about. So the idea is that you progressively tense up your body. So maybe you start in your feet and work your way up your legs. And it was just kind of interesting how these two separate approaches, there's this meditation approach and this breathing approach, and they come to similar.
And I think, something that uses all those things could be really beneficial.
Yeah.
Because you're kind of handling it from all different directions.
Yeah. I found the muscle tension also helped with my performance anxiety. I found in my own nervousness, I think you were describing it as well, the tension builds. So if you practice building this tension yourself. And
those first exercises we did with tension and release, I neglected to say you should tense up as much as you can, as much of your body as you can, and just really feel that tension so that the release really means something.
Yeah.
Again, I'd like to just say, buy this book because it is awesome. And at least they used to have it on DVD or nowadays, since we've got the internet so at our fingertips, you would probably be able to buy some kind of a recording that, what do you call it?
Yeah, so they even have, there are some videos. I can't promise that these are, what's the word I'm looking for? Completely legal. I'm not sure if Pat and Sam gave their permission. However, on YouTube, if you search Breathing Gym, there's Pat and Sam doing these warm-ups on YouTube.
Yeah, and it's really kind of fun. You should do that with the videos because they're almost corny. They're funny the way they approach it, but it just kind of makes it more lighthearted, and it starts your day, just kind of in a fun, let's do this, let's have fun kind of a way. So I love that.
Yeah, they're very funny in the way they play off each other.
They really are. You should watch it just for that.
Yeah, I think so.
You'll get a laugh in your day.
Yeah, and there's Heidi again. Thank you so much for posting in the chat the Amazon links to the Breathing Gym. I think this one might include, the DVD is here. You can find it.
Great.
For shipping, I think there's a new copy available for $35. on
And
Amazon.
you know, when you think about it, $35 to change your life. I mean, really, it's life changing when you start incorporating these breathing exercises into your everyday routine. Even if you don't have time during your warm ups, like I said, do some in the car while you're driving to get to your whatever you're going to play. $35 is a small amount, considering it's gonna be life changing as far as how your breathing day goes and how your nerves are handled. It's really cool to me how connected breathing is to nerves.
Yeah, I think air is a very important thing to brass playing.
It is, it is. And you know, when you think about it, our air is one of the most natural resources we have. We breathe 24/7. At least we better, or else something's going to happen. Um, but you're not meant to use your face 24/7, beat it against a wall. So if you're using your air the right way, your face doesn't have to work as hard. So this is going to help endurance as well, because if you're thinking of taking a big breath and then just sending everything from here, then your face becomes only a tool that air is going through, and it doesn't work as hard. And you will notice a direct correlation to strength and endurance. I promise you, you will.
Yeah, for sure. I remember, I think he might still be there. Todd Bowermaster was, maybe still is, the third horn in St. Louis
I
Symphony.
think so. I think he is.
He always described to me the concept of sound as an airplane, and your sound is an airplane, but what keeps the plane in flight is your air. Keeping it
Nice.
always
like
flying.
that.
I like that picture, is because it's the most important thing. Maybe you don't see it, but it's important.
Yeah, I think it's the most important thing. I think I always want to put down my air first and then place the fingers and tongue on the air. And unless you're a fourth grader and you just started playing, your fingers and your tongue know what to do. Trust that. And then put your air down and then trust your fingers and tongue to line up. And it's amazing how it syncs your fingers and tongue. Just having that air stream going first. So air, fingers, and tongue. Aft. That makes a word.
I like that. Well, Susan, thank you so much
You're
for
welcome.
joining us today. I know that this was super useful to me, stuff that I had forgotten. And thank you all for being here for this session of Horn Camp Connect, live from KBHC 2022. If you're joining us on YouTube, thank you so much for joining us there. If you'd like to rewatch today's session, we will upload it. Possibly not today, but definitely by the end of this week. And as always, join us tomorrow at 8 a.m. Eastern Time for the next session. This one will be Bernard leading the warm-up, and the second half will feature Dr. James Nagus, who will present on mastering scales through fun, creativity, and empowerment. Thank you all so much for joining us today, and have a lovely rest of your day.